Today I'm going to make a creamy crock-pot chicken. Generally when I cook I don't measure exact amounts unless it's a recipe that asks for very exact quantities. And I found though in the case of crock-pots I tend to just throw everything in and hope for the best. Anyway, I'm going to start with about 2 carrots diced, 1 onion diced, about 100 or so grams of mushrooms. I just quartered them, but if you prefer them smaller you can cut them up smaller. And also about 100 grams of bacon. I tend to buy the shortcut bacon because it has less fat. I think in a crock pot you want to remove the fat as much as possible because it all tends to float to the top and look a bit icky. So either that, if you do use foods with lots of fat in them, you'll find that when all the fat floats up the top you'll probably want to remove it all because it's not a pretty sight and it's not something you really want to be eating. So to that I'm going to add a kilo of chicken on the bone. I'm using chicken thighs in this case where I've removed all the fat. You can use about half a kilo of boneless chicken in its place. Any chicken will do. I actually find that cooking chicken on the bone though results in a sweeter tasting meat, and also it's with crock-pot cooking it's not difficult to remove the bones because the meat tends to fall off the bones. So to that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of tomato paste, about a tablespoon and a half of plain flour, and also some salt and pepper. That's going to thicken up the sauce at the end. A little bit of parsley. If you have fresh parsley, go ahead and use it, especially add it towards the end, but I'm just using some dry parsley for now. Equivalent of about a clove of garlic. Use more or less depending on your taste, but since the kids will be eating this, so I'll stick to a clove of garlic. 1 whole bay leaf, and getting close to the end now, about a cup of chicken stock, and a half a cup to a cup of white wine. I tend to be a little bit too generous with the wine, as my kids tell me all the time. And put the lid on low for 5 hours, 6 hours until it's cooked. The good thing about slow cookers is you can pretty much put on a meal before you go to work in the morning and come home and not worry about your food burning. It may be a little bit overcooked, but at least you have a meal when you walk in through the door. I wouldn't worry about stirring it, but you can. The good thing about slow cookers is you can really just leave them alone. I'm going to come back now in 5 hours time and add a 1/4 cup of cream, and then I'll serve and we'll see how this experiment turned out. So here we are 5 hours later, and I added a 1/4 cup of cream. I also left the lid off the slow cooker for the last couple of hours of cooking to thicken up the sauce, and I also added another tablespoon of flour to make the sauce thicker. So here it is, creamy slow cooked chicken on a bed of mashed potatoes.